What is electrolysis? What are the factors affecting electrolytic conductance? What is anion liberating capacity? What is the standard reduction potential value? How to remember the most important electrochemical series in the electrochemistry topic, based on which you can solve number of questions in this topic. And what are the products obtained at anode and cathode? How to decide the products of electrolysis using inert electrode and reactive electrode. For all these questions you will get a super trick in this video. Hello students, I am your Sangmay sir and you are watching Effortless Chemistry. In this video I am going to discuss about the aspects of electrolysis, factors affecting and the products of electrolysis, as well as how to remember the electrochemical series and anion liberating capacity here. Before starting that, if you are new to my channel, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to get notification for all the videos. If you have any doubts, let me know in the comment box and check the description box for important playlist, tricks and shortcuts that are going to help you a lot for your NEET examination. And don't forget to like the video, because your one like keeps me motivated to make more videos for you. Let's get started. Electrolysis. In this one, in electrolysis, electrical energy is getting converted into chemical energy. The process of decomposition of an electrolyte by passing current through its aqueous solution or in the molten state is called as electrolysis. Simply here we are passing electrical current through the aqueous solution of the electrolyte or in its molten state. This is very important here, because these electrolytes, they will conduct electricity only in their aqueous solution or in their molten state, because in the solid state ions are not free to move. Hence, only in their molten state or in the aqueous solution they will conduct electricity. For example, if I take NaCl, in the solid state this NaCl will not conduct electricity, because here Na plus and this Cl minus, they are not free to move here. But whenever this NaCl is kept in water, that aqueous solution of NaCl, in that one Na plus and Cl minus ions, they are free to move, hence they will conduct electricity in the aqueous solution. Or if you take molten state, here it is the paste of NaCl, where Na plus and Cl minus ions, again they are free to move, they will conduct electricity. So in the process of electrolysis, these two conducting rods, they are immersed in a electrolytic solution here. In this electrolytic solution, these two conducting rods are immersed, and these two conducting rods, they are connected to a battery through the conducting wire. This negative terminal is called as what? Cathode, and positive terminal is called as what? Anode. Already we know the shortcut, that is Leo's loss of electron is oxidation, gain of electron is what? Reduction here. At the anode, oxidation takes place, at the cathode, reduction takes place. One thing you keep in mind, this negative terminal, it will attract cations. This positive terminal, it will attract what? Anions. Whenever electrical current is passed through the molten NaCl, these cations and anions, they are attracted towards the oppositely charged electrodes. Then they get discharged. As a result, the products are formed as a result of oxidation at the anode and reduction at the cathode. Some products are formed at the electrodes here. Here what happens, this Na plus ion, it is getting attracted towards the cathode, so that this Na plus ion, it get discharged at the cathode, and here sodium metal is deposited. And here Cl minus ion, it is attracted towards the anode on passing electrical current, and it get oxidized, and here chlorine gas is liberated. Always you keep in mind, metals are solid and they are deposited at the cathode. They will undergo always reduction here. If you go for non-metals, most of the non-metals, they are what? Gases, and they are liberated at the anode. They will undergo oxidation and they will be liberated at the anode. So what will be the reaction here? At the anode, oxidation takes place, chlorine undergo oxidation, chloride ion. So Cl minus ion, it will be losing electron. 1 Cl minus ion loses 1 electron, 2 Cl minus ion loses 2 electron. 2 Cl minus, upon oxidation, it can be written as chlorine gas. Here chlorine gas is liberated here. Now at the cathode what happens? This Na plus ion, they will undergo reduction. Reduction is nothing but gain of electron. 1 Na plus ion gains 1 electron, 2 Na plus ion gains what? 2 electron. So that sodium metal is deposited at the cathode here, and the metal, that is sodium metal, that is deposited, this is called as the product obtained at the cathode. Here chlorine gas is liberated at the anode, this is the product obtained at the anode here. These are the products of electrolysis. Sodium metal deposited at the cathode and chlorine gas liberated at the anode. These two are the products of electrolysis here. If you take the overall reaction, what happens here? sodium is undergoing reduction, Na plus is undergoing reduction here, and Cl minus is undergoing oxidation. So overall reaction what we can write here, Na plus is converted into Na, Cl minus is converted into what, Cl2 here, minus 1 to 0 oxidation state, and this also 0 and this also 0 here. Minus 1 to 0 is oxidation, oxidation state is increased. Plus 1 to 0 is what, reduction, oxidation state is decreased here. This is what the overall reaction of this electrolysis. Only one thing you keep in mind, always oxidation takes place at anode, reduction takes place at cathode. Leo, Zer, you have to remember this one. So the next point is factors affecting electrolytic conductance. Already we know that these electrolytic conductors, they will conduct electricity due to the movement of ions. Now the factors which affect the movement of ions, they will affect the conductivity of these conductors. The first point is nature of electrolyte. The conductivity at the moderate concentration is maximum for the strong electrolyte as compared to weak electrolyte, and this is maximum than the non-electrolyte, because for strong electrolyte degree of dissociation value, alpha value is equal to 1. It means that in case of strong electrolyte, it undergo 100% ionization, so that more number of ions are formed. Number of ion increases here, conductivity increases here. But at the moderate concentration, for weak electrolyte, alpha value is less than 1 here. So it will undergo only partial ionization. Less number of ions are produced for weak electrolyte as compared to strong electrolytes. That's why in case of strong electrolyte, at the moderate concentration, conductivity is more as compared to weak electrolyte here. If you go for non-electrolyte, alpha value is equal to 0 here. It will not form any ions. So its conductivity is almost 0 here. Next point is concentration of electrolytic solution is directly proportional to the conductance. More the concentration, higher concentration is there, means more the number of ions are there. As the number of ion increases, their moment increases, electrical conductivity also increases here. Next one, nature of the solvent. Here this dielectric constant K of the solvent is directly proportional to the conductance. What do you mean by dielectric constant here? The polarity of the solvent is expressed in terms of dielectric constant. So as the dielectric constant K of the solvent increases, conductivity increases. These two are directly proportional to each other. So the next point is viscosity of the solvent. Viscosity is nothing but the thickness of the liquid which offers resistance to the flow of the liquid air. So here this viscosity of the solvent is inversely proportional to the conductance, because as the viscosity of the solvent increases, the moment of the ion decreases here. As the moment of ion decreases, conductivity also decreases. That's why viscosity of the solvent is inversely proportional to the conductance. These two are inversely proportional here. Next one is size of the ion. Size of the ion produced is inversely proportional to the conductance again. Suppose whenever an electrolyte is added to the water, what happens? Cations and anions are formed here. Suppose a larger size ion is formed and smaller size ion is formed here. Larger size ion is there means its kinetic energy will be less. Smaller size ion is there means its kinetic energy will be what? Maximum. So size of the ion is inversely proportional to the conductance. Smaller the size of the ion, kinetic energy is more, movement will be more, conductance will be more here. So larger the size of the ion, what happens? Kinetic energy is less, movement will be less, conductivity is less here. So size will be inversely proportional to the conductance. Larger size ion, less conductance. Smaller size ion, more conductance. So size of the ion produced is inversely proportional to the conductance. Next one, temperature. Here, as the temperature is directly proportional to the kinetic energy of the ion. As the temperature increases, kinetic energy of these ions increases. As a result, again conductance also increases. Therefore, temperature is directly proportional to the kinetic energy of the ion, which is directly proportional to the conductance. These are the factors affecting electrolytic conductance. So the next point is products of electrolysis. Already we know that during the electrolysis, oxidation takes place at the anode and reduction takes place at the cathode. Already we know this shortcut, that is AVOCAR. Anode oxidation, cathode will be reduction here. As a result of oxidation at the anode and reduction at the cathode, you will get products at the respective electrodes. Like metals will be deposited at the cathode and that will be taken as product at the cathode. Non-metals will be liberated at the anode, they will undergo oxidation. Whatever the gas is liberated at the anode, that is taken as what? Product obtained at the anode in the electrolysis process. Now, the products of electrolysis which are obtained at the cathode and anode, they depends on what? The type of the material that is being electrolyzed. If you take molten electrolyte, then you will get different products. If you take aqueous solution of the electrolyte, again you will get different products here. That depends on the type of the ions that are present in the electrolytic solution. The next point is the type of electrode. The product of electrolysis, that depends on the type of electrode. There are two types of electrode. One is non-reactive electrode and another is what? Reactive electrodes. These non-reactive electrodes like platinum and gold just acts as source and sink for the electrons. They will not take part in the electrode reaction. If you take the reactive electrodes like copper and silver, they participate in the electrode reaction. So whenever you take non-reactive electrodes and reactive electrodes, again the product of electrolysis will be different here. Therefore, the products of electrolysis of the same electrolyte, for the same electrolyte, if you use different electrodes, again you will get different products here. Products of electrolysis of same electrolyte is different for inert electrode. Inert is nothing but non-reactive electrodes, and for the active electrodes. Active electrodes are nothing but which are taking part in the electrode reaction. And next very important point you have to remember is anion liberating capacity. This is very important to solve the problems. Okay, in this one, this is the order of anion liberating capacity. For example, in an electrolytic solution, chloride ion also there and OH minus ion, hydroxyl ion also there here. In that case, what happens? Chloride ion undergo oxidation to liberate chlorine gas, whereas OH minus ions are remained in the solution only. So there is a competition between these two. This will be undergoing oxidation to liberate chlorine gas, whereas OH minus ions will be remaining in the solution only. If you take competition between these two, this will be undergoing oxidation to form bromine gas. Chloride ion will be it will be remaining in the solution only. Like that, here iodide will be oxidized very fastly to liberate the iodine gas. So this is the increasing order of anion liberating capacity. This is very important point you have to remember here. Without this, you can't do anything in the electrochemistry. So the next point is electrochemical series, and this is very important in the electrochemistry. If you know this electrochemical series, you can solve the problems like anything here. So the tendency of the atom to lose or gain electron is expressed in terms of what? Electrode potential value. You know that atoms will lose electron or gain electron. If they lose electron, undergo oxidation. If they gain electron, they will undergo what? Reduction. So the tendency of the atom to lose or gain electron, that is expressed in terms of what? Electrode potential value. This value will give the tendency of the atom to lose or gain electron. Now this electrode potential value EP, there are two types here. One is standard reduction potential value, another is standard oxidation potential value. So here whatever I have written, this is very important trick you have to remember. Okay, so here if standard reduction potential value is positive, the particular atom readily gains electron, it undergo reduction. It is undergoing reduction, acting as oxidizing agent. If SRP value is negative, readily loses electron, undergo oxidation, acting as reducing agent here. SRP value positive, reduction, standard reduction potential value positive, reduction, negative, oxidation. Okay. Now if you take standard oxidation potential value, SOP value is positive, oxidation, that is readily loses electron, undergo oxidation, acting as reducing agent here. SOP value is negative, readily gains electron, reduction, and acting as oxidizing agent here. So according to IUPAC convention, in order to avoid the confusion, this SOP value is not used here. Just whatever the electrode potential value is given, that is directly taken as what? Standard reduction potential value only. So SRP value, whatever the electrode potential values are given in the textbook, so that are directly taken as what? Standard reduction potential value. If it is more positive, readily gains electron, reduction. If it is negative, loses electron, undergo oxidation. This trick is very important. Now we will see the electrochemical series for which SRP values are positive and negative here, which gains electron and which loses electron, that depends on what? SRP value. So one thing you keep in mind, if SRP value is positive, readily gains electron, negative loses electron. So the gaining and losing of electron is expressed in terms of what? Standard reduction potential value here. We will write electrochemical series now. So this will be your electrochemical series in which these elements, they are arranged in the increasing order of their standard reduction potential value. In this direction, SRP value is increasing. So here it is negative value is there. If you go in this direction, again it become as positive. So this fluorine is having highest positive standard reduction potential value, so that readily undergo reduction, and it is acting as strongest oxidizing agent, SOA I have written here. Similarly, this lithium readily loses electron because its SRP value is more and more negative it is. So readily loses electron, acting as what? Strong reducing agent here. Now, very important point is you have to remember, for hydrogen, the electrode potential values, they are arbitrarily, they are taken as 0 here. Now we will split this electrochemical series before hydrogen and after hydrogen. Two parts we will do here. And this is the increasing order: lithium, potassium, calcium, sodium, magnesium, aluminum, zinc, chromium, and Fe+2, cadmium, cobalt, nickel, tin, lead, hydrogen, copper, and this is iodine, Fe+3, silver, mercury, bromine, chlorine, and fluorine it is. The atoms which are coming before hydrogen, for them SRP value is negative. SRP value negative means they will undergo oxidation, readily loses electron. And the atoms which are coming after hydrogen, for them SRP value is positive, so that they will readily undergo reduction, acting as strong oxidizing agent here. So one thing you have to keep in mind, left side element readily loses electron, undergo oxidation. In this series, left side element undergo oxidation, right side element undergo what? Reduction. Right side readily loses, that is readily gains electron, they will undergo what? Reduction here. Suppose if I take a competition between the sodium and hydrogen during the electrolysis, in the electrolytic solution, if you are having Na plus and H plus ion, both are present here. In this one, which one will undergo reduction readily? That is hydrogen, because for sodium SRP value is negative, it undergo oxidation, but hydrogen is what? For this one it is 0, which is more positive than the SRP value of sodium. That's why hydrogen undergo reduction, and this will be remained in the solution only. Suppose if you take the competition between the H plus ion and copper plus 2 ion. So for this one, for copper, what happens? SRP value is more positive. Copper undergo reduction and H plus ions will be remained in the solution only. Like this, we have to use this electrochemical series. So first I have written what? SRP value. SRP value is negative, they will undergo oxidation. SRP value is positive, they will undergo reduction. So you split this one into two parts. Before hydrogen, they will undergo oxidation. After hydrogen, they will undergo what? Reduction. Whatever the SRP value you have written, if you change the sign, it becomes as SOP value. SOP value for these elements is what? Positive, because they will undergo oxidation. SOP value for these elements is negative because they are undergoing what? Reduction. Exactly opposite you have to write here. That is SOP value is negative of SRP value. So this is how you have to use what? Electrochemical series. Now we will write products of electrolysis using inert electrode. We know that products of electrolysis depends on the type of the electrode that is being used here. That is, if you are using inert electrode, these are not taking part in the electrode reaction. If you use reactive electrodes, they will participate in the electrode reaction, so that again the products will be different here. Now we will write products of electrolysis using inert electrode like gold or platinum. They will not take part in the electrode reaction, keep in mind. So the first one is electrolysis of molten NaCl. What is molten NaCl? It is the paste of NaCl here. So that these cations and anions, they are free to move here. Always you keep in mind, molten means here no water is present here. So this NaCl, it will split into what? Na plus and Cl minus. We know that at anode oxidation takes place, at cathode reduction takes place. AOCAR is the shortcut, we know this one. So here at the cathode, what happens? This sodium ion, that is Na plus ion, it will undergo reduction. One Na plus ion gains 1 electron, so that 2 Na plus ion gains 2 electrons, so that sodium is deposited at the cathode. And at the anode, this chloride ion undergo oxidation. Each chloride ion loses 1 electron, so that 2 chloride ions are there, 2 electrons are lost. Here chlorine gas is liberated at the anode. So what are the products of electrolysis here? Sodium metal is deposited at the cathode, and this chlorine gas is liberated at the anode. Already we know that metals are being solid, they will deposit at the cathode, and non-metals most of them they are being gases, they will be liberated at the anode. So these two are the products of electrolysis here. Next one is electrolysis of aqueous NaCl. This is important. See here, aqueous NaCl is nothing but NaCl is dissolved in water. Then what happens? NaCl, it will split into what? Na plus and Cl minus. It is being a strong electrolyte. All Na plus and Cl minus ions will be formed here. Next, here water is also undergoing dissociation to small extent, that is H plus ion and OH minus ions are present here. Now you see here, in the electrolytic solution, you are having Na plus ion as well as Cl minus ion, H plus ion and OH minus ion. Now there is a competition between these two cation and a competition between these two anion. Out of these two cation, which is undergoing reduction, that depends on the electrochemical series. In the electrochemical series, the element which comes on the right hand side readily undergo reduction, which comes on the left hand side readily undergo what? Oxidation. So here, if you take the competition between these two, the reduction potential value of hydrogen is more as compared to sodium, because in the electrochemical series, Na will come in the left hand side and this hydrogen will come in the right hand side. So it undergo reduction. So at the cathode, hydrogen undergo reduction. So what happens? 2H plus ion, it takes 2 electrons, hydrogen gas is liberated at the cathode. Now you take the competition between these two, which one will undergo oxidation easily? Already I have given, that is anion liberating capacity for the chloride ion is more as compared to hydroxyl ion. That's why at the anode, this chloride ion again undergo oxidation. 2 times of Cl minus, it loses 2 electron, chlorine gas is liberated. So at the cathode, hydrogen gas liberated, at the anode, chlorine gas is liberated. These two are the products of electrolysis. What are remaining in the solution? Na plus ion and OH minus ion, these two are remaining in the solution only. So that Na plus combines with OH minus to form NaOH. Hence the resulting solution will be what? Basic in nature, that is NaOH is present here. So the pH of the solution will be what? More than 7. So the resulting solution become as basic in nature. Next one, electrolysis of aqueous copper sulfate. In this one also same thing, again these two will split to form what? Cu plus 2 and SO4 minus 2. Next, water is also present, aqueous means, so H plus ion and OH minus ion. Here 2 cations are present and 2 anions are present. For the reduction, there is a competition between these two. For the oxidation, there is a competition between these two. Now, based on the electrochemical series, you see here, in the electrochemical series, copper is on the right hand side and hydrogen is on the left hand side here. So this copper is on the right hand side means its reduction potential value is more, it undergo reduction readily as compared to hydrogen. So in the competition, this copper plus 2 ion wins. So at the cathode, what happens? This copper undergo reduction, Cu plus 2, it gains 2 electron, so that copper is deposited at the cathode. At the anode, if you see here, OH minus ion and SO4 minus 2 ion. In between these two, anion liberating capacity, that oxidizing property, the tendency will be maximum for what? OH minus ion. So what happens here? OH minus ion undergo oxidation to give what? Oxygen gas is liberated here. That is 4 times of OH minus, it gives what? 2 moles of water plus 1 mole of oxygen is liberated. 1 oxygen gives 2 electrons, so that 2 oxygens are there, they are giving 4 electrons here. So what are the products of electrolysis here? At the cathode, copper is deposited. At the anode, oxygen gas is liberated. These two are the products of electrolysis. What is remaining in the solution? H plus ions are remaining in the solution. SO4 minus ions are remaining in the solution. So 2 times of H plus ion combines with SO4 minus 2 to form H2SO4. So the resulting solution will be what? Acidic in nature. So what will be the pH of the solution now? pH will be less than 7. Similarly, if I take the electrolysis of aqueous stannous chloride and aqueous zinc chloride, then what will be there in the electrolytic solution here? Electrolytic solution contains Sn plus 2 ion, Zn plus 2 ion, Cl minus ion, H plus ion as well as OH minus ion. Due to presence of water, H plus ion, OH minus ion. And due to presence of SnCl2 and ZnCl2, Cl minus ions are present, and Sn plus 2 and Zn plus 2 ions are present here. So now you see here, how many cations are there? Sn plus 2 is there, that is 10, and Zn plus 2 is there, and H plus ions are there. So which one will undergo reduction here in the competition? Just you see the electrochemical series. In the electrochemical series, which one is coming on the right hand side that readily undergo reduction? So here hydrogen is on the right hand side as compared to these two here. So at the cathode, what happens? 2H plus ion takes 2 electron, so that hydrogen gas is liberated at the cathode. Next, at the anode, what happens? Anion liberating capacity, Cl minus ion, OH minus ion, which is maximum? Cl minus ion. So it gives 2 electrons here. Each Cl minus ion gives 1 electron, so that 2 Cl minus ions are there, 2 electrons are lost, so that here chlorine gas is liberated. Chlorine gas is liberated at the anode. In this case, what are the products of electrolysis? Hydrogen gas liberated at the cathode, chlorine gas liberated at the anode. So what will be remaining in the solution? OH minus ion and Sn plus 2 ion and Zn plus 2 ions. They will combine with OH minus, so that zinc hydroxide or tin hydroxide is formed here. So the resulting solution will be what? Basic. These metal hydroxides are what? Basic in nature. So the resulting solution become as basic. Hence the pH of the solution will be what? Greater than 7. So these are the products of electrolysis. Whenever you are using inert electrode, keep in mind, whenever they are asking products of electrolysis, first you have to concentrate on which electrodes they are using. If it is inert electrode, products of electrolysis are these. If you are using reactive electrodes, then you will get different product because they are undergoing reaction with electrode. Okay. Now I will write products of electrolysis using reactive electrode like copper and silver. Example for this is electrolysis of aqueous copper sulfate solution using copper electrode. Here copper electrode is a reactive electrode which take part in the electrode reaction. In this one, aqueous solution of copper sulfate is electrolyzed by using copper rods here. Electrodes are here copper rods. Impure copper is acting as anode and pure strip of copper is acting as what? Cathode here. And in the solution, what you will be having? CuSO4 means copper plus 2 ion, SO4 minus 2 ion, due to presence of water, H plus ion and OH minus ion here. Now the reduction potential value of copper is more than that of hydrogen, because in the electrochemical series, this copper comes after the hydrogen. So here what happens? Copper will be undergoing reduction at the cathode. So copper plus 2 ion from the solution, they will be undergoing reduction and they are deposited at the cathode. Now in the solution, copper plus 2 ion number decreases as they are deposited at the cathode. In order to balance the number of Cu plus 2 ion, a copper from the anode is oxidized to give Cu plus 2 ion here. Observe here, copper is undergoing reduction at the cathode and copper is undergoing oxidation at the anode. Anode reaction is what? Copper is undergoing oxidation. Cathode reaction is what? Copper is undergoing reduction. So the net result will be what? The transfer of pure copper from anode to cathode through the solution here. So first Cu plus 2 ions from the CuSO4 solution is deposited at the cathode. Then to balance the SO4 minus ions in the solution, Cu from the anode is oxidized to give Cu plus 2 ions here. During the electrolysis, pure copper is transferred from anode to the cathode. 98% pure copper is obtained here, and this is called as electrolytic refining of the copper. Always you keep in mind, whenever you take reactive electrode, at the anode also what happens? Copper is oxidized. At the cathode, copper is reduced here, so that here copper is deposited. Copper is deposited.